Hello Pimplers and welcome to my channel. As I commented in the last video, wait, you didn't watch my last video? Then go and come back. I will be waiting here. Okay, recap. As I commented in the last video, I feel so glad that Sauer and Troger gave me the opportunity to test one of their rubbers, but first, I didn't know which one to choose. And second, in YouTube there are thousands of videos of reviews about their rubbers. Then I decided to do something a little bit different. I will explain you how to choose Lumpy's rubbers and why I choose this one. Do you want to play Pokemon? Election? I think the first natural question is Lumpips with the sponge or not? If you play far from the table, it would be a good idea for you to use Lumpips with the sponge. In this way, it would be easier to reach the table with the ball. Also, if you want a consistent attack with the long pips, will be a great idea to have the sponge. The long pips without the sponge are for players who prefer to be close to the table. The OX rubbers are slower and more disruptive than the ones with the sponge. Which one would you choose? In my case, I chose the Hellfire X without the sponge because I used to play close to the table and also I like slower rubbers in my backhand for blocking. And what happened with the distribution of the pips? Here, if the distribution is vertical, the rubber will be better for pushing and blocking. But if the distribution of the pips is horizontal, the rubber will bring a little bit more of spin, ideal for spin reversal or for defending. Which one fits better for your game? Although the distribution of the pips in the Hellfire X is horizontal and I prefer pushing and blocking, I noticed that when I chop I use the racket in a horizontal position, but for blocking the position of my racket used to be vertical. Then I use the best way this horizontal distribution and I feel comfortable with it. And what happened with the size of the pips? Long pips used to be long, this is obvious. But there is an important relation between width and height that is important to consider. Balanced pips have 1-to-1 relation size. More than 1, the speed will be lower and the spin higher. Less than 1, the speed will be faster, but the spin will be lower. Which of those options do you prefer? Hellfire X has a relation 1 to 1.1, then theoretically this rubber will have less speed, but the producers of this rubber balance it, adding more separation between pips, because more separated they are, faster the rubber is. And the texture of the pimples? Before, players used frictionless pips rubbers for making the ball more unpredictable. Now it is not permitted by rules. However, exist brands who produce mixed designs who help to make the ball more unpredictable. What do you prefer? Unpredictable balls or predictable ones? In this case, Hellfire X have a rough surface in the head of the pip for giving friction to it, and around the pips, low friction for making the ball unpredictable. Another important aspect is who produced the rubber. Specialized brands will be always focusing on high quality products. Global brands sometimes produce one rubber for reaching some specific target without developing the technology needed. Which one do you think will be better? I chose Sauer and Troger because they are specialized. Actually, the founder of this company, Sebastian Sauer, used to play with long pips OX close to the table, same style I would like to play. Another interesting question is how often the company produces these specialized rubbers. The ITTF number includes important information about it. The first part of this number is the ITTF license. Without this number in your rubber, you cannot play official tournaments. The second number shows the order of the rubber's production of the brand. If the company produces many rubbers in not much time, it means they are just making the same rubbers with different designs. If they produce few rubbers in so much time, it means they are not advancing in technology and investigation with them. What do you prefer? A company that produces more than one rubber per year or a company that produces less? In this case, the number of the rubber finishes in 09. if they started to make rubbers in 2010 and the ninth one was commercialized in 2020, they produce less than one rubber per year. For me, the time enough to focusing on developing their rubbers well. As a conclusion, I will summarize all the topics that I think you have to consider in order to choose your own lawn pips. With sponge or without it, if the distribution of the pips would be horizontal or vertical, the relation between width and height, the texture of the pips, who produced them, and how many of them the company is producing each year. I hope this information is useful. If you like this kind of content, then give a like, subscribe, and